just talk about it.
All right, let's start with this. College Station, Texas A&M had a huge lead, big lead. Alabama, you saw it. They blocked the punt. Here they go. Calzada, who's been, he's who he is, comes out of the injury tent. Jimbo Fisher follows him in there. He comes back and leads him to a game-tying touchdown and then puts him in position. In a matter of about 6 or 8 hours, it looked like that UT was going to be able to sit there and talk a lot of trash about the SEC and ruining A&M. And then 6 hours later, A&M beats number 1 Alabama. Texas blows the lead against Oklahoma. What was that for Jimbo Fisher?
That was huge, especially since in the offseason to the Houston A&M quarterback club or the 12th Man Foundation meeting, he said, we're going to kick Alabama's ass. That was his exact quote. And after you lose to Arkansas and Mississippi State back-to-back weeks, it does not seem like that's going to happen, especially as well as Alabama was playing. But they came in locked in. Zach Calzada finally figured out, like, hey, if you get the ball in the hands of these great playmakers you have, the work for you is a lot easier.
If you have time to get it in their hands as well.
That's true.
And they had Alabama on their heels from almost the beginning. You can get that in that environment. That's a crazy place that we've seen teams go in there and not come out alive. Not always, not a lot of times, but a few times. And in that moment, Alabama now with the loss and a mulligan, they don't have room for much more. Craig, how impressed with you that game as far as Alabama then moves straight into Texas and Oklahoma?
I mean, I was highly impressed with A&M. I mean, that was a gigantic win. That was a giant, massive win for that football program. If they had lost that game, no one would have batted an eye. No one would have been surprised. If they gotten blown out, I don't think too many people would have been surprised. But the fact that they're now sitting at 4-2, and they've got a big one over Alabama now behind them, the fact that they did it in front of a crowd like that and had a moment like that, that's program defining for Jimbo Fisher. That is not just we got lucky and blah, blah. No, that's a building block that he can use now, and it's a belief that they have now that, like, hey, we didn't have our regular starting quarterback. We had questions about the guy who is our starting quarterback now, and what did he do? He just went out and won the freaking football game. Yeah, I mean, like, they didn't have any questions about that defense, and rightfully so, because that defense is tremendous, and they were always going to be in every game this year, no matter what happened at quarterback, because of said defense. But Zach Calzada did his thing. He's going to be, I think he was named SEC Player of the Week. He's going to be up for a lot of other honors this week. They couldn't get much done in the running game because Alabama's just pretty good, but they were still able to make enough plays in that first quarter that they got off to. I mean, to build a lead like that, I think everybody was waiting for them to crater and falter, but that turned out to be gigantic, that big start they got off to. And building a lead like they did. So when Alabama did come rushing back, and they did in that fourth quarter, man, that freaking fourth. I mean, you just saw like the dread coming over the faces of everybody at Kyle Field of like the inevitable has arrived.
Like the python squeezing the life out of what was otherwise a great win.
Here comes the wounded animal that we didn't finish off, and instead, I mean, they did finish him off, and it wasn't easy. It was stressful, but man, what a damn win for Jimbo Fisher.
Scott of Casterly Rock. Recruiting bump. We need a top 3 class. I love Jimbo. Obviously, earlier he also said gig him. From Salt of the Earth and a Texas Tech fan. Fire Matt Wells. That's another part of the story. We'll get to that in a minute.
They recruit pretty well already, but yeah, that's the type of win. I don't know. I don't follow A&M closely enough, like on the daily basis, to know what recruits were in attendance. I would imagine there probably were a lot for the Alabama game, but Kyle Field's always got a great atmosphere, but that just felt like even more special on Saturday. The videos that have come out since then of like Calzada's I don't know if she's his fiance or girlfriend or whatever, but have y'all seen that video of her and Calzada's mom watching the kick?
Well, I've seen Seth Smalls.
Yeah, that's
Seth Smalls.
Yeah,
sorry. That's who I was talking about,
shaking,
not Calzada. I was talking about Seth Small. That's my fault. But, yeah, I mean, like that stuff that's come out, an incredible win for them. And, I don't know where it takes them from here, but that's one where, just a week ago we were talking to Olin Buchanan, and it was a situation where, Jimbo talked a lot about like the rat poison stuff after that win, and he had a point because there was a lot of media, and we were talking to Olin. We were asking Olin, there's that video right there, that question as well of like, hey, is it still kind of a disappointment that even though you lost Haynes King, even though he was a question mark himself, is it still kind of a disappointment that they are where they are? It's not anymore. It's not without a doubt anymore. So, didn't want to have 2 losses this early in the season, but that win over Alabama made everything feel a lot better. And then you talked about